Long go. I've been told we're late.
We're late.
Back.
We're back.
Yeah. Can anyone tell me if the audio's working? I'm pretty sure it is.
Did we not do a mic check? Of course
I
not.
did, but I'm more of like
it's the live check.
Yeah, the live check.
the
I'm more of like an MVP guy.
Post live check.
It's minimal viable product to get this thing.
Should I turn this fan off? Or?
Oh yeah, we should definitely turn the fan off. What's up, everybody? What's up, chat? Thanks for cruising in.
Oh yeah, that thing was loud.
It was very loud. Now it's very quiet. All right, let us know if we have any audio issues, but I think we're good to go. Steven needs a therapy session after today's market volatility, but can we just, it feels nice to be back for now, at least.
Hi, guys.
All four of us.
Hey. Hey, Papa.
Oh, hi. Papa, didn't see you there.
Hey.
Papa
back.
EJ. Congratulations,
Papa
bud.
Bear.
Thanks, man.
Can't wait to hear about your new fatherhood experience.
Yeah.
Hey.
I hear you're going to
Someone-
drop some enlightenment bombs on us later in the episode.
Well, there's like a lot of deep questions I have. I don't. It's only been 7 days. I haven't like learned a whole lot.
Oh.
I just have a bunch of questions.
Deep questions coming later.
Okay, first question for you. Do you feel severed? Is it like a pre and post life and you don't even remember the old guy anymore?
Yeah, I want to save this all for later, but like a 1,000%.
Armand, we
yes.
talked about this.
Severed.
We talked about this in the meeting.
You always want me to hold it in my pants.
You have to keep it in your
and
pants.
I don't want to, Steven.
Otherwise, the audience is confused. They come in, you start getting all deep and everything, and then we're like,
what kind of society do we live in where we have to keep it in our pants all the time?
every society.
I thought you were a progressive dude.
I'm not a progressive.
I mean, we did hip
Fine.
thrust last episode. That did well. Got turned into a clip I saw.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
you're
Jesus.
hip thrusting in a clip
God.
somewhere.
Yeah,
You're
clockwise.
interesting.
Clockwise.
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 What did I miss?
You didn't see the. I think they're
Clockwise
crazy.
is-
They literally turn their hips counterclockwise.
Did we have a poll on the? That would have been a good time for a.
I am a southpaw hip thruster.
Mm-hmm. He's unorthodox.
In so many ways.
What's it called when you? All right, guys. Welcome to the Alfalfa Podcast. We're live on YouTube, like we are every Wednesday at 5 p.m. PST. Thanks for everyone joining us.
We get a new guy.
Oh, hi,
First
new guy.
time live.
Oh,
the
welcome,
Buida.
welcome to the live show.
Welcome, buddy.
My
Yeah.
new friend.
Thanks for
Well,
joining.
what are we drinking today, boys? We got a potpourri. I see.
This is the final boss tweed from our boy.
What's the
Touch.
alcohol percentage? Because this is going to tell us
This
the
one's only
trajectory of the pod.
9.3. The other one was like 14.
Okay.
Got
Yeah,
very
D.
toasted.
Koch brought the fire with that gift. Those were so good. Everything that he gifted was amazing.
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 I got a ruler on the wrist because we don't stock enough Negro Modelos in the
I don't stock
refrigerator for
any
Steven.
Negro Modelos. I'm a simple man. Negro and lime.
Armand, did you
Herbal
get
tea.
yourself a little treat? No.
Herbal tea.
That's herbal tea on ice on one large cube.
Old fashioned.
Good choice.
I'm
All
drinking
right. You,
Diet
sir,
Coke.
back in the saddle.
Well, I haven't had a cocktail in a long time. I was like just doing beers, but I'm doing Diet Coke and Bullet rye. It's great.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
He's a
Simple.
severed man.
Love it.
Wetting the whistle.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's give a shout out to our sponsor. Go to ZBiotics.com/alfalfa. Check out the pre-alcohol drink. I have 4 pages of notes to read. The pre-alcohol drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. For best results, you take it a few hours before you start drinking. Did you take one out of the drawer? Or did you?
No, I remembered again.
Remember last
on
episode?
fire.
Last episode, he said the same thing, and then
We
as
need
we're
a-
walking
we
out of
need
the
a
office,
sign.
as he's walking out of the office, he pulls his full ZBiotics out of his pocket and realizes he actually forgot to take it.
didn't. Take it at all.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was a bad move by me.
Ooh, your morning did not
You're
appreciate
raw
it.
dogging alcohol?
How do you get by in life?
I did last week. It
Why
wasn't
would you
good.
raw dog alcohol without taking a ZBiotics?
I don't know.
It's just not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it.
Anyway,
It's
yeah.
a good line, by the way, ZBiotics. You should use that.
Don't raw dog your alcohol.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it without it.
I like mine better.
It really is. For the cost of like one drink, you get rid of all the other drinks and that nasty feeling in the morning. So just as a reminder, it's the probiotic that takes care of that nasty toxin, acetaldehyde.
Oh God, he had a drink in his mouth. He
had a
dropped
drink
the
in his
ball.
No, it's been 2 weeks. I forgot. And also, I'm a new guy. I don't even do that anymore. I'm a dad now.
Yeah. So guys, go use the code alfalfa at checkout, zbiotics.com/alfalfa. You get 15% off. It helps support the pod, and we appreciate you, ZBiotics, for being part of the team. All right, guys.
Well, we said we weren't going to talk about tariffs today.
I was
but
literally going to make the title anything but tariffs.
anything but tariffs.
But you feel so moved.
The title is like about endangered animals or some shit.
Which we'll talk
It's going to be a
about.
very confusing.
Yeah. Let's
People who
go into
wander in here.
tariffs.
Okay, tariffs. 4 minutes, go.
4 minutes on the
Oh,
clock.
wow.
Go.
7.
Whoa.
Oh my
7.
god! Do you need a catch up on what happened?
Yeah.
Okay, so I wake up this morning. Yesterday at midnight, or I guess today at midnight, the tariffs all went into effect. The bond market was blowing up overnight. The MOVE index was like 170. Bad things were happening. Wake up this morning, people are panicking. Donald Trump at one point tweets, "Now is a great time to buy." At which point I was like, should I just buy everything? And I didn't.
Whoopsies.
Big whoopsies.
And then
But then like 2 hours later, Donald, he's fucked. He rugged the algo traders because he tweeted this long thing, and the beginning of the tweet was, "I've enacted 125% tariffs on China because blah blah blah." This huge long diatribe about why China sucks, and at the very end of like a 5-paragraph tweet, there's a little line. Also, I have removed all of the tariffs. We're just doing 10% reciprocal on everybody. Thank you for complying. So
The TLDRs missed out on
so
that
you
one.
can see the chart where all the algo traders and the scalpers just like sold everything, and then it went whoop, and then TLDR, Nasdaq was up 12.5% today.
I saw it was second best day of all time.
Second best day of
is
all
that like
time.
in terms of percentage gain or like market cap added?
Percentage gain, I think.
Percentage gain?
Fart coin, plus 48% when I left the house.
Whoa.
And by the way, the one thing I know is the Farcoin chart during the last week or two was like the most resilient.
I've been saying this in the
Dude,
Discord.
you-
This has been my like one of my top. It's the only thing I chart these days is like Bitcoin, stocks, and
I'm
fart
so
coin.
glad you've come around, Stephen.
Oh, I've been around this for a while. Like
Armand's like, he eventually makes his way back to my investment
Armand's
thesis.
taste-
I don't
Tastemaker.
need it, but
He's a tastemaker.
you know,
I've been on the Farcoin train for at least like 3 months at this point.
That's
I
nice.
am there.
you know,
So
our doors are wide open for your hot air.
Your cheeks.
yeah, we're turbo pumping. Everybody's FOMOing.
That's
40-something%. I was actually surprised to see
That's
ETH
really
up
awesome.
for once. I was expecting everything up, ETH down.
Yeah, it just
For once.
ETH's up, baby. ETH got options today, I think.
Oh, it did.
Oh my.
I know. Big
Oh
day.
I could use
my
some capital
God.
efficiency. Just trade it all into.
I would have loved some
leaps.
options back when I owned the stupid fucking coin. Would have been super useful.
This might be enough to get me back in. I thought I'm
on.
done. Thought I'm done with markets. Maybe
Ready
I
to get
maybe
hurt
I'm back
again? Yeah, I mean,
We still have a long way to go to get back to December or January.
long way.
Long way.
Not
I
for
mean,
Farcoin
I thought the-
investors. It's just a
The
a
most
paltry
bullish
little
thing
2x,
about
but-
this is that, and I think it was the Treasury Secretary who said it, is that this whole thing was a negotiation tactic. And that line alone makes everyone feel a
I
little more
listened
comfortable.
to that interview actually.
Yeah.
That I want to give credit. I believe it was. Do you guys remember who dropped it in the?
I don't know, but like
Discord, it
he
was
just
the
walked
best
out of the
ones.
White House and
Yeah.
started speaking.
It was really good. It was really interesting. And I thought Tucker. I'm referring to a Tucker Carlson interview.
Oh, Tucker and Scott Besson.
Yeah, and it was
Good.
informative.
Good one.
It
Yeah.
was good.
I mean, this is basically what you and I talked about on Irresponsibly Long yesterday, which dropped today. The episode aged like fine wine already. Unfortunately, it wasn't actionable to anybody because they
They didn't
played
get
it and everything was already
But you
up.
did say buy your first tranche.
But yeah, I mean, I bought a bunch of Bitcoin at like 76K. Fortunately,
My first tranche was 2% of my cash. Does that still
Oh,
count?
God.
yeah, how many tranches you have, dude?
But the main thing we were talking about was this idea that basically Trump is just going to do shit. There are going to be these exogenous forces that like force his hand, and he's going to be like, art of the deal. This was all planned. Whoosh.
Look what I did.
And everybody's going to be like, wow, so good. Which is, I think, what happened. I think barn market blew up, and then he got like a tap on the shoulder, and they're like, yo, you're going to actually annihilate the world economy.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, 10% tariffs on, like, what is even the outcome here? Like, we just nuked everything for 10% tariff?
Yeah.
Is that the
I mean,
outcome?
he's kind of come home with the point like, this is 90 days, and you better come with your best offers. And if you don't, and we don't like it, it's back on, like very clearly, just to
So we
maintain
just
the,
have like
the
another
leverage.
date that we just We just, I mean,
Liberate me again, please.
you just keep having these days where you just sit in front of the computer with like your finger over the green or the red button and just like watch them talk.
I mean, this is one thing I didn't
button.
vote for was I voted for the opposite of having to look at CNBC's homepage to see how my business is going to do over the next like year. And now I have to do that multiple times a day to be like, well, are we fucked? Are we unfucked?
So with the other party, it would be because of regulation. Is that what you?
Yeah, I
insinuating?
mean, we talked so many times in this podcast that like the other side was like overhanded in regulations and trying to meddle and like twist things in the way that they want it. And I'm literally getting the maximum amount of that.
Yeah.
At least for my type of business, you know.
Specifically for China.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting to see how he's going to get them to the table, because if you've been to China, you know, Chinese people, work with them, they don't really respond well to bullying them to the table.
Oh, they're like human beings.
Saving
Like,
face.
Who does respond well to that?
Yeah, but like saving face is a real thing in that culture. And so they need at some point he needs to provide a saving face off ramp.
Yeah.
Where, and this happens all the time when two leaders make a thing. You have to come together a way where both people could say they win.
Yeah.
Even if they're both lying, you know, so they have to be able to do that. So we'll see.
So
that happens.
you're going next week to China.
Yeah, it's going to be
so
fun.
you're going to solve this. Thank you in advance.
Diplomatic mission.
Yeah, thanks in advance, dude.
Yeah.
I saw some guy on Twitter post that his like container cost overnight went from like $4,000 to like $104,000 for shipment.
That'll happen.
4,000 to 104,000.
Yeah.
That's more than 104% or whatever.
Well, now it's more than that. Probably it's 125%. So it's more than the cost of the goods.
I mean, he said like one of his products, like the tariffs went up like infinity. Like he said he was selling like a $32 product that had zero tariff, and then he woke up and it was like $16.40, which is
That's nothing.
probably his entire margin.
That's nothing. That's
I mean,
hilarious.
I'm like longing for the good old day. We used to like sit around here and be like, God, it's so messed up that this like Jerome Powell guy can just move markets. But at least then it was like once every like 1.5 months, and there was like a set date, and you just
Yeah, that's
and
true.
there was like some measure here. Now it's just like he's just like sitting in front of the computer, just like watching the Twitter feed. You're like, oh God.
But
Is he gonna tweet something?
it's interesting. I was on the phone with one of our factory owners, like the CEO of the company, and she was like, what do we even like? There's nothing for us to. Let's talk about something else, because like we can't plan further than a week. So
A week.
like, I mean, we were talking about all the options on the table, like moving her factory to the U.S., moving it to a different country, doing all kinds of random stuff, right? But like you literally can't take the discussion further than just like put a list together of all the options and all the scenarios. You can't take action on any of them until you kind of know what's going to happen, at least for 90 days. So, yeah, it's just volatile. But
Sorry, man. It sounds like a freaking nightmare for you.
well, it's actually like you can't do anything right now because you don't know what the rules are. But I think it's fine. Like we have all the different scenarios, all the different options. None of them are great, but like at least some of them are very tolerable and doable. It's just which one do you choose to do? And we're waiting for, you know, which one to pick.
So your business is just reacting by freezing, basically? Or...
No, it's like planning, and then whenever we, you know, see like some kind of, whenever the options arrow from like 100 to 3, then we can choose a path to go down. But right now, like the available options, it's just so obtuse, you know? And so once we get a narrowing of it, then we can choose one and act on it. But until then, it's too ambiguous.
So help me catch up too, because I've been in like total fatherhood mode.
Yeah.
China has responded to increased tariffs by retaliating with increased tariffs.
Yeah, they're just matching whatever the U.S. does.
They like increased, and then Trump was like, I'm doubling it. And then China released like a white paper last night.
Yeah, I didn't read that.
Which is kind of a weird move, and the market pumped on this, right? Because the market's basically like, oh, this is like they're not doubling down. It's just been like this weird game of chicken.
I like this move of turning the world, like giving everyone else lower tariffs. It does give people an out to just move to a different country, obviously, but it does make sure that at least they're aligned with us and not with China, because you could totally see some of these exports like Indonesia or Malaysia, look at their exports to US, China, and you'd be like, that's kind of a toss-up which way they kind of like point their compass towards. So anyway,
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
I think I saw that Apple was gonna produce phones in India.
They already are producing some, but what they've probably realized is that the infrastructure and corruption is just like impossible.
Whole new set of problems.
Yeah, a whole new set
today.
of problems.
Ripped.
I bought with my little 50 cents. I bought all the Mag 7 except for Tesla and Nvidia, and
Could have thrown a dart today.
I could have just won on anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that VGT buy I made like 3 days ago is already up like 28%.
Congratulations. Did you survive your bond, your TLT?
Oh my god, dude! I
You
got
get
out of that
roasted?
thing just in time.
Oof.
Oh,
Jeez.
jeez, it's a freaking minefield out there, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's
Careful.
like you literally have to just log off, just buy stuff that you're okay.
Eric's
with
had the
for
best strategy.
10 years, or just
Have a
like
baby.
sit in front of a computer.
Yeah. Sell at the perfect time. Sell at the perfect time, and then have a baby, and just log off. That's
Wow, must
that's
be
how
nice, dude.
I'm handling it.
Jeez.
Is our 7 minutes up? Any other takes on this?
That was perfect.
All right, cool,
All right.
done.
Yeah, gavel it, Armand.
We do need a
your
gavel.
All right. Where do we want to go next? We have steal this business idea.
Yeah,
We
tell us
have-
about it.
Or we have animal extinction. Too soon?
That's too soon.
Okay.
I want to steal your business idea.
All right. So I have a idea I want to pitch to you guys. I'll never do it because I already have a business to work on.
You're a busy man.
I have a backlog of ideas, and this one I just keep going back to. Be like, I want to tweak this a little more. And
I'm gonna put the over under at $35 million value for this business idea.
okay.
Like right now.
Whatever he's about to spit. Like, I know,
Whatever he
I
says.
know the
I
I know
don't
the
think it's like
expected
a-
value is like 35.
It's not anything novel, and I'm sure someone is doing it already, but I want to know why it's not a good idea. All right, so let me.
I also want to predict who from our Discord takes this idea
and runs
runs
with it.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is I hope people are listening because
Yeah,
go for it.
somebody
All right.
should.
Yeah, just
Well,
send us
let's
a bottle of
see if
whiskey.
it's good.
Yeah, see if it's good. It could
Yeah.
be
And
a terrible
then
idea.
We tell people either
'Cause,
to
like-
do it or not do it.
This segment's gonna be really awkward, by the way, if you just share the worst idea ever.
All right, you want to hear it?
Like nobody's heard this idea in advance, by the way. So-
Or everyone's heard this idea. All right, so it's a golf simulator hole-in-one challenge. Okay, you pay $20, you get 3 balls, you hit a hole-in-one, you get $10,000 in cash. You put this thing in the new San Diego airport terminal. It's open 24/7, 16 hours a day, and it's legal because it's a game of skill.
Skill, not chance.
Not
Yeah,
chance.
Right.
It's about, you put like something on the simulator, like a 140-yard hole, nothing crazy, nothing too easy but too difficult. An average golfer, 1 in 8,000 to 1 in 15,000 odds of getting a hole-in-one.
It's got to be such a wider range than that.
It's a pretty wide range, though. 8,000 to 15,000.
But like, if it's like a 97-yard chip shot versus like a 234-yard, or the
Details.
greens-
We'll get to
keep
advanced
going, let him
mode
keep
later.
going.
Okay.
Okay, so let's assume 1 in 8,000. Your break even per ball is $1.25. So if you can charge around like $6, $7 per ball, it's a pretty good business. If you're particularly going to put it in the airport usually takes like a rip on gross revenue. But like something like 15% is probably what they take, or a minimum amount if you don't have sales. 8 people, and I think you got to do 3 sims in one location, about 2,500 square feet.
Yeah, you set up a bar around it too.
Bar, whatever, doesn't matter. But
is
like
key.
the key is you need high foot traffic, and ideally you have it open as long as possible. You could put it in a bar, like in a beach area, a popular bar area.
Yeah.
But you need a lot of throughput. I think this thing could do like 20-25% net margins. Probably make like $300,000-$400,000 a year. It's a physical location based business, and the odds are ever in your favor. And I think if people are in the airport, they got time to kill. They hear the whacking of the ball in the simulator, and it's like there's a wall of winners who've won $10,000.
Yeah.
You go in, get a water, and maybe you buy 3 balls, and then maybe you buy 3 more.
Well, I know for a fact that I would be the guy who just like watches everybody, but I would be sipping on my beer that you sell just right next door, and I would
So
just
start the brewery next to Nick's business.
Nick's business would have the bar too, but like I would that's where I would spend my time in the airport. I would like watch these
Yeah.
fools try to hit holes in ones.
Yeah. Sounds super entertaining.
Yeah.
I think you probably need like 2 people
I mean,
to
how
run
hard
it.
is it to get this into an airport? I think the hardest part for me is just that.
I mean, I think the airport is like the ideal location, but like there could be several different locations. You could pop one up like anywhere, right? In a very small
But
square
the airport
footage.
is a good idea in the sense that people have some time to kill generally.
And they're walking by.
Yeah.
San Diego's a golf-oriented city.
Okay,
so
tell me
half
about
the
the- tell me
visitors
about
are
the-
perform best in like a bigger airport that has long international layovers.
even better.
Tell
Even
me
better.
about the
Mexico
fixed
City,
costs.
you know.
What? So you gotta pay for the golf sim. How much does that run?
Up front.
Yeah, how much does that cost?
That one, I think like retail is probably like 25 grand.
Okay,
So 25 grand a pop, whatever. Like
that's not bad.
maybe it takes like $500,000 to set it up and do the interiors and all that.
And then what's the risk? Is there a risk of like a shark that just like bleeds you dry?
Totally. I mean, you could have like a scratch golfer have like a 1 in 3,000 chance or 1 in 2,000 chance.
Steven's got a new career.
But like even better because there's not even that many scratch golfers to like make you go bankrupt, but you need some winners on the wall
Right.
to get everyone excited. And I think like people's hitting the golf ball simulator in the airport sounds fun, but a chance to win $10,000, I think everyone likes a little gambly.
Okay, let me think through this. I love that this was the business idea. I was afraid it was going to be like some butt wipes or something.
No. This is different.
This is awesome.
Combines a lot of things that I enjoy. Golf, gambling. Okay, so $7 feels high to me.
Hi.
It does.
I feel like
gonna be 4.
I feel like in my brain, like I'm doing this for like I'll do it for like $1.
No, it's gotta
$1
be
per ball.
No,
That's a
per ball.
lose-lose.
I do it for 4.
$4.
In the airport, you already know that you're getting kind of
Okay.
gouged.
Call it. I think the right number is like $10 to play.
Minimum. Like $10 for
I'm
one.
saying as a user.
It's too high. Now, if
That's
it's
the right number
if
to
it's
get people
you
to
in a
play.
sim by yourself, $10 is way too high.
Yeah.
If somehow the environment is you and there's like a bunch of like hot women like cheering you on in the background or something, now you're gonna like overpay for the ball. So I think like the environment you curate of people watching you like is kind of like the key element here. And I think you need to like have some revenue generation outside of the like I think you have to like I think the hole-in-one itself has to be like a loss leader.
What if first ball's free? Does that get you at least in the door?
First ball's free is an interesting idea. I like that. But then you're saying
Either way, you're paying for it.
What'd you say they expected? 1 in 10,000.
$1.25 break even per ball, and 1 in 8,000 on the low level for like odds. 1 in 15,000 on the higher.
God, 7 just feels high. Like maybe people do 5.
People will do 5.
You could do bulk
Yeah.
bulk buys.
I mean, you need a set of offer structures that just basically gets people to say yes, hand credit card, and like hit one ball.
Okay,
and then from there, it's like addicting on its own. You get it close, you're like, give me another fucking ball.
Yeah.
No, you got to do like the online like internet marketer checkout funnel thing, where it's just like, oh, you could buy 1 bottle for $400, or you could buy 17 bottles for $20 each, and people are like, wow, that's so
Yeah,
much
I mean,
better than
you
$400
literally
a
put the
bottle.
iPad there, and they can just keep going.
Yeah, everybody's gonna want more than 1 ball anyway, so you could frame it as like, oh, it's $7 a ball, or get 10 balls for $50, or 20 balls for.
I think you still need it like 5 times your break-even cost, 4 to 5 times your break-even cost to have enough gross margin in it. And listen, if this wasn't an airport takes 15% of gross sales. But if you're in another location, you're going to have, a lower fixed costs.
Yeah.
You still have probably high rent because you want a high traffic area, but it's not going to be a rip on your revenue.
Oh, chat's got a good idea here.
Okay, what do we
So the idea is that you integrate it with the bar model, and you get like a free ball with the drink. And you can just very easily kind of blend that into the cost of the drink or subsidize that a little bit, but then people do it, they got the drink, and then they're like, I gotta go again.
So you lost me at $7 a ball, and you have me.
drink.
I'm broke if it's free with a drink.
All right, well, here's a challenge of
Like
this.
if I can get a beer at a bar and then like I just get a free shot at a $10,000
Yeah.
hole-in-one, that's kind of fun.
Yeah, I will like encourage you guys to go to the airport with me on a Friday. We're not even flying anywhere.
All right. Well, let me tell you a challenge this business model. So it's not like the walk by traffic is flat every hour of every day in the airport, right? It's highly seasonal, and like you have holidays or times of the certain hours of the day that have most amount of people. So you need high throughput during those hours because your max amount of plays per hour is maybe 6 to 9 people per hour if they only hit like 3 balls. So you need to be able to handle like the high volume, the surge. So if you add the drink in, it just slows the machine down. But we could make it a little faster. Because like during high throughput areas, there are times you need. I think that's why it makes sense to have 3 sims and not 1, because it's a marginal upfront cost of like 50,000, but you make sure you capitalize on the most busiest times. The other idea is you could get advanced and do surge pricing. So based upon if there's people playing, just it goes down to $4 a ball, and then if it's busier in the airport, you could ratchet it up.
This would be great as like a food truck model, kind of. Like if you're having like a party or an event or something.
You just roll it up.
Yeah, you just bring the hole-in-one truck.
I love it.
Bring the hole-in-one truck.
If it's like a hole-in-one truck integrated with like a bar, and there's some like pretty girl like serving you beers, and you get your like free shot at the hole-in-one with like a beer. Maybe it's not like one beer. You like level. We could boost this again, right? Maybe it's like one drink or whatever. Maybe you buy like 3 drinks or something. You get like, or 2 drinks. 2 drinks, you get a free hole-in-one beer.
I love this idea of the food truck model, because then now it's like if you're hosting a party at your house, I'm gonna buy unlimited for my guests to like go for shots at it.
Okay, can I poke at it a little bit?
Please. That's what I want.
So I think it's really interesting, and it's like the entertainment factor is the most interesting thing about all of this, right? It's like you can do a lot to spice it up and have auxiliary revenue and have alcohol and have the girls and create the, surge pricing and figure out the business model. But what I don't like about it is it's too small. It's like 300, 400K a year. The amount of operational overhead and time that goes into like executing one of these successfully, that's $1 million business. Someone's going to buy it one day. If you get it to 300K in profit for like $1 million. And don't get me wrong, $1 million or just cash flowing 300K a year can sustain someone's lifestyle.
Right.
Like, that's really cool for like one family. You got a guy, he does 1 or 2 of these, and it can be a great lifestyle. But I think the idea is actually sound. It's just how you execute it. You don't execute it as potentially, this is an idea. You don't execute it as an individual operator. You execute it as like a franchise idea. Like you develop the system and the infrastructure and the business model and the tools and the suppliers and everything. And then you literally allow people to start this as a business and go, and you've already developed the relationships with all the top airports, and you're basically like enabling individual sole proprietors that would be life changed by 300, 400, 500K a year to go and execute this for you. So you instead move from sole proprietor operator to corporation owner. And that corporation owner, that's $100 million business.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's a small time idea, but I feel like there's so many options to scale it up, right? Like one is
this is one
franchise model. That's one. The other is just like raising money to print out 100 of them over the country, right? Like and actually own all of them. And if you can prove it in like probably 3 to 5 different types of locations, and you got something good, then I think you could easily raise the money.
Yeah, you could corporate it, you could franchise it. You take like a more of a Top Golf approach, but with way more locations.
So help me understand this. Like if you do the franchise model, is it still centralized on the maintenance? Like does the central hub do like maintenance and stuff, or
you
is
buy
that
like a business in a box?
Yeah, the franchise is like, we help you with your marketing. These are your suppliers. These are your resources. You go through us for everything. This is your blueprint. This is your playbook. Or it's the latter. It's like all one giant corporation, the In-N-Out style. We run this. We decide the locations. We decide the team. We decide everything. No one can come and
And you might take
one's like McDonald's, one's In-N-Out.
Yeah, and like the franchise ors will take like a rip on sales, gross receipts, but they'll also kind of like there's a setup fee. The franchisee
$200K, $100K.
They buy in
to get started,
and then there's usually like additional fees, kind of like helping you manage the business. You might even provide services to those locations.
I guess
If
I'm
I'm
just-
looking at it as an individual, though, I'm like, I don't know, what's less like intense and it's like running the corporation or just having the business in a box.
Yeah, I'm guessing
You
to
know?
what degree do you unburden yourself with the day-to-day operations if you do the franchise
Probably both
model?
come with their own set of burdens, and I bet you that the difference is just like the person that has experience or connections in one avenue or the other and is best suited. Also, personality is like a driving factor. You know, it's like, what are you best suited to do?
What do you guys think about it being in a simulator and not like another idea would be at Mission Bay. It's like a par 3, 18-hole par 3 course. Like, let me lease a 19th hole. Like, I'll pay for all the maintenance, all of it. And when people get off the 18th green, I'll be there and be like, hey, you guys want to play the 19th hole?
That's
Because
interesting.
you could get $10,000 if you hit in the hole.
No, that doesn't work.
You could just
that
like
doesn't work at all because you're talking about like when you're in a simulator, you've got like 12 square feet of space, right? Versus like you are occupying massive amounts of real estate to do this. Like the economics are just very bad if you do it that
But
way.
I love that name for it. The 19th hole is the business name. Like,
Yeah, like
that's sick.
in Vegas, when you play at the Wynn, on the 18th hole, if you hit it in, you win like 25 grand if you get a hole in one on the last par 3 or whatever. And he was like, huh, interesting. You could just do that as a business
Right.
and make it very profitable. I have a feeling it's going to be like 1 in 15,000. And one tough part might be you have an empty winner wall like for like
For a
3
long
months
time.
for a long time
Yeah.
before anyone actually wins. And you're like, trust me, come play.
could you just be like an insurance company at every golf course that already exists and take one of their par 3s and turn that into like
I'll underwrite
Yeah.
all your
Yeah.
par
Pe-
3s.
People do that because you play these tournaments and you like people have tournaments and they have like a prize for like a hole in one or something, and then you can get people to underwrite it.
mm-hmm.
And the hole in one insurance. It's a weird niche industry. I love these like weird niche insurance industries.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know. I think like if you can prove one location can make like $300,000-$400,000 a year, like you have something really, really big that could be replicated. Because how many could you put of those in San Diego? You know, there's like more than just one.
Have you
So-
ever thought about like what the model looks like from like an events perspective? Like, because this is like an interesting way to stress test it. Because you can imagine somebody has like an event, right?
Yeah.
And this would be like a fun thing to have at it. It'd be like a big draw for them, right? What would that person pay to basically have this at the event? You know, how many golf balls would be hit per hour versus
Yes,
like
exactly.
how much benefit would people get for like if you had like a thing at your event, which is this cool van where you like hit a hole in one for like 10K, people would love that. But like how many balls would get hit if you're charging like $5 a ball or $7 a ball? Like, well, how many balls get hit in an hour? Like how many? And then how much does it cost?
Imagine
like,
a bunch of
actually have this
scratch
thing?
golfers get together, be like, yeah, bring that fucker over here. We just sit there for hours until we knock a chip shot in.
But nobody's even going to do that. Even if you scratch, you're not going to do that because just like the hourly is still so bad. Like, what are the odds for a scratch golfer to hit a hole in one?
I mean, by definition, it has to be net EV for the people playing. It has to be, right? So you're not doing. You're like, I think you're right. You're doing it for the entertainment value,
Yeah.
not because you're going to make money.
But
from it.
you need to stress test it in case somebody like games it, right? But say a scratch golfer is 1 in 1,000 to hit,
Okay.
right? How long would it take a scratch golfer to hit 1,000 balls?
I don't know. Probably like,
You probably hit 2
Couple
balls
of-
a minute.
yeah.
Yeah, you just
If you're pumping?
design some rules where it's like you can only hit 5 balls and then it's the next guy's turn and then you get to the back of the line or something.
But even if like the guy was sitting there just pumping balls, like how long would it take a scratch golfer to actually hit 1,000 balls?
Hours. Because I mean, like, I've
so many hours.
gone to the range and gotten like
the
150
hourly.
balls.
The hourly is not even gonna be worth it for 10K.
The best part is you get tired at like 150 balls.
right?
So
Because if the population odds are 1 in 10,000, but you're a scratch golfer, so you're 1 in a 1,000, then the EV might go from 0 to like 10 times that or whatever. But it's like not going to be that high of an expected value per ball still, even though you're 10 times the population. And then when you factor in like the labor cost, I don't think you're going to get gamed because that's the thing you worry about.
Agreed.
Like, you're going to
Yeah.
get some organized scam that just sits there and
yeah.
You get some like guys in the Chinese factory just like hitting golf balls. Like, just like the guy that with like all the phones on like the bikes and everything.
You're just trained to hit this 140-yard shot on this one sim hole.
You have to like change the hole every
They're
time.
just farming you.
I like it because like you don't need to know. It's not like a tech play. It's not like a software play. Anyone could set it up. It's the math. The probabilities are in your favor. It's just a matter. Can you get enough people to play? And if you're in a high traffic enough area, I think enough people like to gamble. You basically turn into like a state fair, game. But you could just do it all year round. Mm-hmm. All right, so viable, but potentially not big enough. Not like.
I mean, big is relative.
Yeah.
I also think that like $10,000, like whatever, just make it like $1,000 and just make it cost
$1.
like $1.
Yeah.
That's or something
it all
like
works. Yeah, you can scale it up and
If there's
scale it
enough,
down.
if there are enough people around, if there's enough of a vibe, people just do things that are negative money EV because they're plus like other kinds of EV.
You're just trying to kill time in the airport anyways.
Yeah, you're just having fun, having a drink.
Okay.
All right, cool idea.
I like the idea.
Cool.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to do it, you'll advise them.
Yeah, I'll put in half the capital, and they put in the other half. They gotta have some skin in the game.
There you go.
We,
Wow.
we just need like an ongoing Nick's business notebook.
I like that.
There's some really bad ones.
Nick's business note. Yeah, we should break it up with some of Nick's the worst ideas in Nick's business.
I want to
notebook.
actually have an episode where we listen to Nick's worst ideas.
I used to have like this. I mean, I guess I still have it, but when I was doing more business stuff, I used to have this notebook where I'd collect ideas, and sometimes I would go back to it like a year later and read it and be like, "The fuck kind of crack was I smoking?" It's just like the worst idea.
Oh,
At the
God.
time, I thought it was really good.
The second one in the list was a spite one. I hate these like
Spite business.
yeah,
nice.
like Trustpilot, BBB. What are all the like review sites? They basically turn into
I
like
hate those businesses.
blackmail. It's basically a
The Better
blackmail
Business-
site.
The Better Business Bureau is like
Oh
the biggest
my
fucking
God! I'm
scam
waiting for like
business.
the CoffeeZilla version
Oh
of
my
BBB.
God.
It is the biggest scam in the world.
It's like the Chamber of Commerce, but
But they charge you.
Worse.
And they're like, oh, you got a bad review? Oh, you got to pay us to remove it. Sorry.
Are they German?
Trustpilot's even
very
worse. It's like,
naughty.
do you want to claim your business? Because
Oh my God, I love the German guy in White Lotus. He has the
Fabian?
most- yeah.
Wait, can I rant about
Stereotypical-
Fabian for a second?
Sure.
Okay. What the fuck was
I
the
am-
purpose of the Fabian guy? They
I am-
built him up.
I am performing tonight.
I'm performing
I am
tonight.
quite nervous.
They're all like, I'm nervous. I'm like, oh God, Fabian's gonna bomb.
Yeah.
He's gonna bomb. And he starts singing, and it's like kind of okay. And then the scene just fucking cuts away.
we don't even
we
see.
never hear about Fabian ever again.
Yeah.
Why was that in the show?
Yeah, because he's the manager.
God, I could do like a whole episode of White Lotus rants
I
from
could too.
Sunday.
Can we save it? I haven't seen it yet, so let's not spoil.
Oh, God.
don't spoil it for anyone.
I won't that was not a spoiler, obviously. You saw
Yeah,
Fabian's thing.
I was kind of on the edge of my seat there.
But it was a ridiculous scene, right?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen the season at all?
No, I haven't seen the Fabian performance. I remember when he was like teasing, so I might be like 2 episodes behind.
You're not missing
I will
anything.
say
It was a
the
thing that it was just like,
finale was
why
good.
was this even?
Finale was good.
I have
Okay.
mixed opinions on it.
All right.
All right, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it
Give
next week.
people a
after
week
you
or
get
It has to
something.
be. It has to be a little bit later to give people
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Alfalfa
It was
TV.
just like yesterday or something, right? 2 days ago.
Sunday.
All right.
Okay.
Eric, you put in they brought back the Direwolf.
Yeah, dude.
What do you know what happened?
I do. Well, I read the Time.
Yeah,
the
you
Time
want to just
magazine.
give us a little overview of what happened?
I didn't know that Direwolf was a real animal. I thought that was just a Game of Thrones
So
stuff.
did I. I swear I thought it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true.
I was like, wow, George R.R. just gets these cool names for.
I did see a photo that George R.R. Martin was holding the direwolf. I don't know if that's AI generated.
And share your
Everything
screen.
is AI now. So
Oh yeah, here's the Time magazine cover.
No longer extinct.
No longer extinct. This direwolf. So they're able to like inject DNA into an empty.
top comment.
Top comment. We got Direwolves before we got GTA 6.
I have to like that.
Seriously. Okay, so they inject the DNA into like an empty cell.
But where did they get it from? They got it from like a fossil, I assume. They like pulled it out of a bone, or
I read in this article that they had blood sample.
Oh, shit.
I don't know how they
get
got
blood?
Yeah, it's like 10,000 years old.
Frozen blood.
Don't know.
Yeah.
This sounds so Jurassic Park, by the way.
It's exactly Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of ways to take this thing. Like, so this company that engineered this animal, they used the cells of like an existing wolf, but when they inject the direwolf DNA, into I guess like the fetal cells or whatever, it's like it's a whole new animal.
This is interesting. It's like this person saying this is misleading. They adjusted the genetic code of a common gray wolf, used domesticated dogs as surrogate mothers, so it's not an actual direwolf. So the deeper question is like, what does that mean? Actual.
What is it?
Well, there's like
But
20
like actual,
different.
the code, the evolutionary chain broke. So do we have to say that it is not the direwolf?
Well, I think it is the direwolf, like by the genetic code, and it was just like birthed by a gray wolf, and that's one of the issues is that the direwolf is larger. So when you like have a gray wolf giving birth to a larger animal, that poses its own issues.
Like a broader skull would do that, right?
Yeah.
Because the skull wouldn't fit through.
Sure.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of ethical things we could talk about
Wait,
here.
hold on, did they use the CRISPR technology? Is that what they used to gene edit this thing?
I don't think it wasn't a gene editing. It was like they injected the direwolf DNA into an empty cell. Like
Okay.
the gray wolf gave birth to a direwolf.
Okay. Wow.
I don't think that's like really in question. I think what's in question is like, is this playing God, and like, is this like pretty fucking?
I mean, we've
terrible?
talked about, I don't know, maybe a year plus ago, like at some point human species will kind of dissect, and there'll be a version that decides to kind of go off on this definite evolutionary path where it's like, I want glow in the dark hair. Like, that's what I want. And I want like silver eyes, and they'll be able to edit it out, and they will go on their own.
I missed those
evolutionary
episodes. We should do
past.
another one of those.
Those are
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. And there'll be another species that, goes off into space or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It feels like human gene, this is like a prototype for.
Do you guys
human gene
believe that these animals went extinct sort of like by nature's purpose, and then now to like bring them back is fucking with sort of like the beautiful design that we exist in, and this is like the real problem, and that by reintroducing stuff like this is actually going to like have unintended consequences that we're not really able to predict?
But is it a beautiful design if an animal went extinct because like Spanish conquistadors or something?
Or like a meteor or something? Yeah, I don't know what caused the direwolf's demise, but these are good questions.
Is this like a GMO animal?
Yeah.
Is that a bad analogy? I don't know, because I don't understand the structural, like the process.
I don't think it's
how
a
different-
modification of genes. I think that's
Yeah.
what's like getting mixed up here. It didn't modify gray wolf's genes.
Right.
It like actually injected direwolf genes into an empty cell that a gray wolf gave birth to. So it's actually a direwolf.
I mean, you could bring back whole ecosystems, right? Where like, I don't know, one specific organism was missing, and
I mean, this could be a
reintroduce it.
transformational technology. This could be, again, it's like it's the transhumanists versus the fundamentalists. And the transhumanist in me is like, this could save and bring back species. This could save the human species in the future.
Are we at the point where we can just like push button, bring back?
No, I mean,
species?
you remember we had like Dolly, the
sheep.
sheep?
Oh,
like that was
Dolly.
like, I don't know,
So
20
quaint.
years ago, and
Yeah.
you feel like we would have been moving faster.
Oh, I have some bad news
No,
for you.
don't tell me. Is it 30 years ago?
It's definitely 30 years.
30 years ago, and I think they've
I
discovered
gotta figure out what
they've
Dolly
discovered
was.
problems as you like bring back old species. It's not so easy as just like have gray wolf
Yeah.
give birth to a direwolf.
You kind of have to have like a host that's close enough.
Mm-hmm.
So what would it be for the woolly mammoth?
Oh my God, Dolly! Yeah, Dolly was 1996.
Oof.
We're talking about this shit like 30 years ago.
So this company that brought back the direwolf is in the process of bringing back a woolly mammoth, and I guess they like started by putting the woolly
Wow.
mammoth DNA into a mouse. which seems
Makes
like,
sense. Yeah.
yeah, sizing wise doesn't seem to be.
Oh, think about
feasible.
little baby
That's
pet woolly
adorable.
mammoth.
That's
Oh my god. It'd
I
be
want
more
one.
popular
The
than Frenchies.
baby
I
woolly
want one.
mammoth is
Oh
the
my
pet
god!
of
If you
the
could have like
century.
a mini mammoth,
That
like a
is-
little-
mammoth?
That would be the pet of
some
the
girl
century.
Okay,
just walking down the
new
street
business
with a little-
idea.
Oh
Business
my
idea.
god!
Whoa,
Mammoths.
this is a good business
Yeah.
idea.
Can you imagine that little
This
thing?
is a good business idea.
It's like more.
You could sell those things
got
for
the
$10,000
hair and
a
the
pop,
tusk,
no
little
problem.
tusks.
More, way more.
10,000.
You can sell it
That's
for
it.
$50K for sure.
Yeah,
No
to
problem.
start 50K.
No problem.
Like a new dog costs $3K.
Yeah.
It's like a Hermes or LVMH.
Oh,
you know,
every Instagram girl will have one. Every,
Only-
every
most
Kim K is
exclusive
just walking
pet.
down the street
Yeah.
with her little
Yeah.
woolly,
Oh my
With their
god!
woolly?
mini woolly,
This is Melvin.
micro woolly.
he's my emotional support woolly mammoth.
Oh
This
my
is Melvin.
God.
He's my service.
This is Melvin the
He's-
mammoth. That's
Melvin.
incredible.
Yeah,
Melvin's a good name for a mini
Melvin's a
mammoth.
great name.
I love this.
All right, so you said this is
Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy.
You really
Yeah,
wanted a
I
name.
just-
Yeah, you
Potential
love that.
son.
I'm looking for a pocket to get.
Oh,
that
you
name
wanted
in
to name your
somewhere.
son Deuteronomy.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, this conversation is flashing back to me.
You
now.
could
I
name
still
your
hate
son
it.
Deuteronomy.
still
Be
hate
my
it.
nephew.
So wait, this wasn't research. This was like a for-profit company.
I don't know the structure of their business, but I know that these wolves
I'm
are
pro
the
wolf,
market
on a
for
ranch.
so from that perspective, I'm in. I love wolves.
But you're in on like bringing back extinct species in general.
No, it's not even like this narrow thing of bringing back extinct species. I think it's like a more high-level question of like, should we be playing God?
Yeah.
And so then there's going to be a great divide in society, which we've discussed, and people will play God with themselves, with their children, with other species,
Yep.
with AI, with cyborgs, and all of that. If you could even try to compartmentalize it under one umbrella, is like the active play God approach versus the like leave it all alone, get off the grid, just be as organic and fundamentally true to what it is to be human as possible. And I think we're going to see a huge divide.
Wait,
in this
where's the
arena.
line at playing God?
I mean, that's a deep question. We in many ways you could argue that we've been playing God for a long time. Yeah.
Girls, fake boobs, playing God.
That's a good question.
Kind of.
I mean, like,
Altering God's image.
I guess we
Also
have to
altering the
define-
evolutionary tract. Of the-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like maybe one is like a just simple meat change, and another is like a genetic change.
Meat change?
Yeah, like
Meat
body,
change.
physical matter change.
Meat sack.
So if I augment
So
myself
anything
physically,
genetic is playing God.
probably anything that's going to affect the evolutionary chain of what it means to be human.
Why is that the dividing line? Like
I don't know.
genetics?
I'm just we're
spitballing
spitballing here.
I'm spitballing. You're spitballing.
Well, because I think like if you can change something that's going to affect the future and of what you procreate, then you're playing God more actively, right? If I genetically engineer my child to have yellow eyes, because I think that would be, or orange, let's say orange, Bitcoin eyes, laser eyes, because I think that would be cool, and then there's like a likelihood that now is like added to the gene pool and becomes a possible thing to pass on, then I think we're playing God.
so it's when you're messing with the species.
Yeah, but I think we're playing with the species already in many ways. Like the birth of AI, to me, is like possibly the most important thing humanity has ever created, and could very much be this like new chain that broke off from humanity. But I don't know if it's playing God. It's just evolution. So, yeah, I don't know where the line is, but I know it's going to be a huge topic of conversation.
I kind of feel like that from a macro perspective, we should allow experimentation. And then on the micro perspective that you described, it's like allow people to not experiment with it and let them live their humanist life how they desire.
So essentially a libertarian approach to like, if you want to experiment, by all means do it. And if you don't want to participate, don't participate. We'll leave you alone. We won't kill you.
I think so. The
We
idea
won't
that
exterminate the non-progressive
there's
superhumans.
there's going to be these unintended consequences, but like there might be unintended benefits, and
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of things. The fact that the tech exists, I think we got to let it kind of.
I mean,
flourish,
my
too.
biggest concern is speciesism. I think we will absolutely experience speciesism in our lifetimes.
What is that?
Well, we're breaking into a new species with the advent of AI, with like moving into
Speciesism,
longevity
like
movements,
racism, but for species.
Yeah.
basically.
Just as much as baby woolly mammoths are going to be appreciated, there'll be a species that's not so appreciated.
Right. It's like, hey, you're way less productive. You're not as good at sports. You're not as good at war. We can't really use you for all this stuff. Like, there's so many things that race is just this dumb subjective thing that we've had on the surface that some people have had on the surface to be able to distinguish differences. But this difference becomes even more stark and more obvious. And I could see it even being more of a problem than racism ever was by far.
Yeah, I was thinking you could, if you could bring back species, could you bring back a Neanderthal? Because that's the one I would think would be like people just throw rocks at them, like you dumb version of ourselves. Like,
I mean, we all have a
can't
little
vote.
Neanderthal in us.
You can't vote.
Some more than others.
Yeah.
You seen his toes before?
I'm like 8% minimum.
8% Neanderthal. Which species would you guys bring back? You have a menu.
Velociraptor.
I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, dinosaurs for sure, right? You just recreate Jurassic Park.
What if they look so different from JP though? If they look like just like these heinous, ugly animals.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like a 4-foot Velociraptor, so it's like a guard dog.
You want a
But like,
a micro
okay.
Microraptor.
I was thinking like a militarized
Microraptor.
version of a
Like, just
Velociraptor.
imagine with like Palmer Luckey's latest gear,
Yeah.
like retrofitted for the Velociraptor, so it can like jump higher,
Velociraptor
maybe fly, and it's
soldier?
just like
Like
Velociraptor soldier
the body armor suit.
on your compound for protection.
We can like genetically edit them to be like tame, and then just like put a little harness behind them to like carry our infants.
Yeah.
I said you were going to be a good dad before, but
Yeah. I also dragons,
Dragons
Wait, did your
didn't
dragons exist?
before.
What are you talking about?
You can't bring them back.
Dragons existed. What are you talking about?
Fire-breathing birds?
You tell me
My
it's all
bait,
made
my
up?
bait alarm is going off in my head. I feel like
Dragons for
I feel like I'm
sure
getting
existed.
debated.
How can you say dragons didn't exist? Now you're going to say Atlantis is made up too.
No, Atlantis is real, obviously.
Okay, then so are
Okay,
dragons.
Sasquatch exists or not?
Probably not.
That's the animal I'd bring back.
I want Jurassic
Okay,
Park.
first of all, to call Sasquatch an animal is very dehumanizing.
Yeah, that was a little rude.
What do you call him? Bigfoot?
Well, he's not an animal. He's part human.
He's just hairy.
Species.
Speciesism.
Bigfoot is a species, I guess. What do you think I would bring? Guess my animal. What do you think I would bring back?
Oh man.
Chat. Which extinct animal would I bring back?
The dodo.
Some kind of
Yes, the dodo. Wait, how did you know that?
I didn't.
Wait, why are you so focused on the dodo?
I fucking love the dodo.
Is the dodo? Didn't they get like? Didn't man just
The
eat them all?
dodo is a fucking vibe, man. You
Hold
ever
on,
look at a
Armand, can
dodo?
you pull up a dodo photo?
Oh my god, adorable.
Because this thing for sure existed. So,
Yes,
and
dodo. Yeah, they're like Galapagos, right?
I thought it was like New
Did
Zealand.
we make them extinct? Did we eat them all at some point?
We
Or did they-
we introduced some like they were like they basically evolved
This
to
is
live
your
on this
dream
island.
animal to bring back.
Oh my god, you can find way cuter versions of the dodo. Yeah.
So they only exist.
oh my god, look how adorable that thing is. Come on.
Wait, is that an illustration or is that a real? It's like a taxidermy dodo.
GPT, make it cuter.
I mean, it is pretty adorable.
Okay, by the way, if you could make pet dodos, those things would be
Nobody likes birds, man.
so adorable. But people like dodos, right? Flightless birds are the most approachable birds. They're the cutest birds. People love penguins. People love kiwis.
People have them.
No, they love them.
Oh,
They
yeah.
just like love them. It's just like adorable to see a bird that goes like
Yeah,
this
true.
and it can't like lift off the ground.
True.
Something hilarious about that, right? But the dodo was just vibing on whatever island of Madagascar or whatever that it lived on, and just chilling. And life was so good that this bird didn't even need to fly anymore. They just lost the ability to fly. Like imagine if you just lost the ability to walk. Like it was like Wall-E. You're just like getting carried around on like a conveyor belt because life is so easy.
Great
You don't even have to
reference.
move anymore. And then like all of a sudden these like conquistadors come in. They introduce some animal and they just fuck your shit up because you're just so.
Maybe that
You
was the
can't deal with
giveaway.
anything.
Maybe that was the giveaway. You
things.
hinted at conquistadors.
I don't know if it was conquistadors to be
Okay.
honest, but it's like a fun word to say for conquerors. But the dodo is so chill. Like everybody aspires to be the dodo. It's like Eric is the dodo.
I am a human dodo.
He is the human dodo. Like if Eric was an
chill.
extinct animal, he would 100% be the dodo bird.
Yeah, I'm adorable.
But I still don't know why you picked it.
I don't know why either.
I can't believe the first guess was correct.
I think that
We're
was
in
like
sync.
the latest extinct animal, like of notoriety.
Yeah, it's kind of like the token extinct.
Corby apparently was also going to say dodo. Apparently, I'm just like
Well, you have a real
cards
soft
are
spot.
just face up. I just have a face up for dodos.
You have a real soft spot for those who can't defend themselves, I think.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I never considered that.
All right, let's go to. Can we talk about Shopify AI Hunger Games?
Yeah, it seems like a smooth transition.
Yeah, perfect.
Hunger Games.
Speaking of the dodo,
I think we need to. Oh man, I had an idea while I was away for a little bit. I was thinking that the Alfalfa Show should have some like music interjections between segments. This would be a good example of one where we could like break the segment with like a little more clarity.
What would you drop right now? Like,
Oh, it could be anything, but just like a way to sort of delineate that we're like
I
Pete
mean,
Rock.
guys, if you give me like a $50K production budget, I would do such great things. So many little widgets and
Really
I would
buy a
throw
golf
some
simulator.
P-Rock.
Macs and
Pete Rock.
Pete Rock, like just smooth it out,
Isn't that like old school hip hop?
Yeah.
wait, what?
OG
Okay.
Did you
producer,
say Pete
CL
Rock?
Smooth,
CL Smooth, yeah.
Orson Primo, DJ Premier. A
think
little turntable.
Who are these people?
Okay, I was thinking of like more modern pop music, just like a la what like a radio station does, like as they like change topics. They kind of just like
Okay. Smooth jazz.
What happened to these
Y 92.5. Like that kind
That's
of
a
thing.
Sacramento cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
people? Wow.
Nick knows that one. Today's hits, yesterday's favorites.
I still remember jingles from my like childhood.
Yeah.
We used to have B101, the oldie station.
Yeah, that's a whole thing is like commercials, jingles, like those have faded. Like, oh, I saw this great tweet that was like, what are the things that have slowly disappeared from in front of your lives and consciousness, like without you even realizing?
Jingles?
Yeah, that I didn't see that one in there, but I'm
TV commercials.
It was like insects. Like, did you know we
Bugs
have
are gone?
80%
Insects?
less insects than we used to have?
Doesn't
Really?
go that way.
It's a huge thing on Twitter right now.
oh, I always
All the
wondered.
insects are gone.
Good
Okay.
riddance.
I wondered if like those are necessary. Because
I
like
mean-
a mosquito, for instance, is
Well,
like the
mosquitoes suck.
biggest nuisance of human life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we
But
need
we're
'em?
also losing all the bees. Like
Do
we have real
need
problems.
do we need mosquitoes? Like bees,
we need
pollinate.
bees. There's
Bees
certain
pollinate.
things that are like butterfly effect, man. Like it can destroy like the entire ecosystem.
Do mosquitoes have like a? Do they play a role in like mutations because they like take blood to other person's blood? Is that like an important thing? Because they suck. So like, what's the design here?
I don't know.
The
Get rid of
nice
them.
double
entendre.
Worst case,
Forever.
we could roll back the code. Apparently,
Yeah,
Yeah.
undo.
just roll it back.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Control
that bugs
Z.
were disappearing though.
Dude, 80%.
So I have like that La Cantina door in the house, like the living room. If I open that thing up, I get like a ton of bugs. So I don't.
But
do
I
that.
promise you come visit my dad on the swamp, you are not going to say that bugs are disappearing.
The old swamp.
Yeah. You'd be
Yeah.
like, please.
God bless that
please,
swamp.
It's too many bugs.
Yeah.
All right, Armand, you want to pull this
what,
up?
What were we talking
Yeah.
about?
We're ready for
Oh.
an
Yeah.
AI
right,
revolution.
yeah.
All right, so Toby, the CEO of Shopify, put out an internal memo about AI usage, and it got leaked. So he just published the whole thing for all of us to read. So we're not going to read the whole thing here.
TLDR this for me?
Yeah.
Thank
Basically, he's saying that before AI was a suggestion, I highly suggested that everyone use it, and he's seen such good examples that it's now mandatory in AI usage. And he gives kind of like 5 things. 1, using AI effectively is now a fundamental expectation of everyone at Shopify. He wants to see everyone using it both as like a deep thinker, a co-thinker, a coder, everything. AI must be part of your GSD prototype phase. I don't know what a GSD phase is, but it's probably their way of getting things done. So he's basically saying before you come with an idea, you
Getting
gotta
shit done.
Getting,
AI.
Oh, I had the same thought.
Yeah, like he's saying prototype it, use it, learn it before you even ask a designer, developer to touch it, probably. 3, we will add AI usage questions to our performance and peer review questionnaire. So you're now going to be graded on how capable you are and how much use you get out of AI. 4, learning is self-directed, but sharing what you learn. So basically, you're on your own to learn this shit because it's easier than ever to learn it. But when you do learn something, you have to share it so that everyone else can get the same benefit. And here's the big one. 5, before asking for more headcount and resources, teams must demonstrate why they cannot get what they want done using AI. What would this area look like if autonomous agents were already part of the team? This question could lead to really fun discussions and projects. And he has a last like rounding note. But the big thing is like, you can't hire a human until you prove that it
AI
cannot
can't.
be
Oh
done
my
with
gosh.
AI. I love it.
This is happening faster than I imagined.
This is Nick's wet dream right here.
And well, it's just a natural evolution of things. And now he's saying, yes, this is how we're going to do things from now on. And I think it's a natural inclination for most businesses. And it's just interesting to see a CEO of a, I don't know, $100 billion company, $50 billion company, whatever they are, be like, yeah, this is the way we get things done. So either get on board or get left behind.
Is this what you're doing?
I think we're kind of already here now. Like, if someone doesn't use it as, at the very least, a thought partner, right? You have an idea and you need someone to discuss it with, you should use it. Deep researcher for sure, a critic, an idea generator, a tutor, pair programmer. Like, you kind of get lost. And I mean, we've already done it. We came up with a few job descriptions, and those job descriptions started off on a path of creating like a series of autonomous agents. So the 2 things I mentioned before we're working on is like customer service. We're like, man, we need like a US-based customer service manager. And we're like, wait, why don't we just use AI to do it? And now our customer service AI agent is like fully live. So it's on 24/7. It's got a 50% escalation rate. So 50% of the time it asks a human, hey, do this action. Even though it could do it itself, we haven't turned that on, like issue someone a refund or whatever. It sends a task list to a human, hey, here's the order number, issue this refund for this much. And then also escalates when it's unsure what's going on. So,
Awesome.
and the times it doesn't do that, it's got a very high like integrity rate. Like the answer is within the realms of, it's better than what our humans were doing because it's fully customized. It knows who you are, your previous orders, your previous chain of communications with us, where are you like in the buying process, and it does really thoughtful responses that are catered to them. And so that escalation process 50% now, but I can imagine in 3 months that being like 20% and then eventually getting to like 5%. And now we have this thing that took, 50 plus humans to do, and it just takes 5 to just oversee QA, and we're there. And we even thought about hiring like a creative strategist, a human, to come up with new ideas, look at data and come up with new ideas. And now anyone in the company can hit a button. It spits out ideas based upon the product you're working on. If you're buying it on Facebook or Google or YouTube, and in one click, it just pipes in the script, the specifications for a video editor. So if human still has to edit it, and then it gets pumped out. So I could see in those 2 things it being real for us, and I imagine it can be real. I mean, you guys do it for customers, but have you guys done it at all in your own internal processes yet, or
Yeah,
where are you guys seeing it?
Very I'm the least technical person on my team, so it's like everything that we do is what can AI take on for us. So like number 5 for me was the coolest thing, and I think that already the way I hire in general, and I think this is a better framework, but already the way I've always thought about growing a startup is I need to see real pain. I almost want to see blood. Like, I don't mean that literally, but it's like we need to be bottlenecking. We need to be bleeding metaphorically in an area of the business and repeatedly. So I want to see a pattern before justifying a hire. And then that hire needs to have an immediate, not just impact on that bottleneck or on that bleeding or on that, component of the business, but an immediate ROI. And then that hire comes with all of its capability to utilize AI as well. So each individual is 10xing. And so you end up needing to not just hire less frequently, but less people than you originally intended because you're getting such a higher output from each individual. So like at this point, like there is almost nothing that I do, even as a mostly non-technical person in my role, like that doesn't revolve around AI to some degree, whether it's a new logo or an email or a pricing negotiation or, you know, fighting for a customer or negotiating with a customer. I mean, there's almost nothing that doesn't, you know, revolve around utilizing AI.
I found a quote in here that Eric might like. In there, he says, my sense is that a lot of people give up after writing a prompt and not getting the ideal thing back immediately. Learning to prompt and load context is important, and getting peers to provide feedback on how this is going will be valuable. And I think this is like 70% of the human population where they're like, doesn't work.
Maybe more. Definitely more.
More.
And I think that one of the points in there that was really important too is like share your learnings and work, because most people are so bad at prompting. Like I've watched people talk to AI and they're bad. And I'm not trying to be like elitist about it, but like I really, you know, it's just it's a skill.
Good.
It's a skill you develop.
Yeah.
I was bad. Like it's taken, you know, hundreds of hours of AI audio podcasts, YouTube, and like experimentation to get to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm getting really good at this. I'm getting really comfortable with this, where I can achieve my outcome much more rapidly. And it's still actually really, it's hard. It's mentally exhausting to get what you want, but it's 100 times better than the previous process. So it's like every time I think about something, I just have like little frameworks in my head, like outcome, example, context, file attachment. And I'm sitting there like, what file can I attach to provide context for this? And most people don't operate like that. Most people are like, respond to this legal question.
Right.
They paste in the legal question. What's the fucking context? Yeah. Are you a C corporation? Do you need this deal? Is there an example of a response you like? And so again, these learnings, as people develop them, throw them in the company Slack and have a channel for this and go, hey, dude, I just got a great result from this. Or, hey, check out this tweet. Like we have a research channel. It's just constantly like things we see, things we try, things we do, and we're just all learning.
It's funny you mentioned that. I'm noticing in our company Slack, people sending, instead of examples of work or other people doing work, they started sending more like, this is the prompt I used to get this. Mm-hmm. And people are sending prompts back and together so they can, hopefully everyone can get a little better. But
one thing on that, like the power, remember when I sent you that tweet from the media buyer?
Oh, yeah.
Like how impactful was that for the company? Like and you, I think you said your business partner saw it already, or you sent it to him immediately.
Yeah, we immediately gave it to the team and was like, in 2 days we're going to meet, and I want to see the results from you using this prompt series.
Yeah, it was like this media buyer on Twitter who posted this like mega thread of like, here's how I do competitive research and create ads and write amazing copy for, you know, these products, and it was like detailed. And it was just like, copy paste this, you know, use it. It's a framework. It's so powerful. It's so powerful.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about how when we did our last round of interviews for like a senior software engineer, we obviously give them a technical test, right? And we give them problem set. They're in Replit. We watch them code live, and we turn off all the AI tools, right, to make sure they still know how to code themselves. But we were thinking, like, if we ever hire a non-technical person, like anything, HR, operations, marketing, supply chain, we should do a live test of like, what is your skills? How resourceful are you using these like productivity hacks available to you?
Yeah, how good of a vibe coder are you?
Right.
Because everyone can vibe code.
I think that's like a legitimate...
If you can talk and describe what you want, you can vibe code.
I think it's a legitimate test for every single role. Maybe not technical, because it kind of helps them cheat in their thing, but everything else, I want to see them cheat and get 10 times more productive.
Yeah. I'm at the point where I even view like I actually want to see how technical people utilize AI first, because all I really want to see from a technical person is like, can you review the code and go, okay, this is a fucking mess, and understand how to prompt it to clean it up? And are you good at deleting? Because and do you understand the basics of like if you're an AI guy, like are you good at Python? But like if you're good at Python, that's fine. But 90% of the time, you should probably be using Cursor.
So
to
like
vibe code.
a coder now is probably only just going the last mile.
They understand. They're overviewing.
They're using the vibe coding for 95% of it after you
Yeah.
massage it, and then they probably still have to walk the last 5% of it.
Or
right?
maybe recreate it from scratch,
Yeah.
but it's the proof of concepts done. Like we have non-technical people creating applications or ideas that work. You can click, they function with using only English. And, it may not scale, it may not be fully secure. Like
It's not like good production level code, maybe.
but we got 90% there
Yeah.
without a very expensive employee in a 2-month-long process of like design, wireframing.
And that MVP literally would have taken that long. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, actually the MVP that I had in my mind that was going to have this like $200,000 employee build is actually not what I want now that I tested it out. It's actually a little different. And then just efficiency gains all the way through.
For sure. Yeah. It's the best coders it's a combination of like they're providing the scaffolding and then AI is generating the rest and they're able to kind of like work alongside it.
I guess like this conversation, I don't find that interesting because I know it's only a matter of time until it eventually does everything that we imagine anyways. It's not like how you prompt it is like the now problem, but soon it will just sort of swallow everything.
Well, I mean, to your point, we've created models that make the prompt better. So like it basically,
yeah, and I guess like
there's a model that creates the prompt that then does it. And even Alan Bryce said, turtles all the way down, use a prompt to make a better prompt.
Do you
And, like-
use the prompts to make the prompts?
We do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But then ultimately, the machine is like intended to learn from itself, and like then the prompting won't have to be so difficult, and it will ultimately be easy. I guess like the thing that I'm most interested in is like a question that like we've discussed at length for years. It's like, okay, so if machines replace labor, that's fine because technology has kind of like prompted that over millennia. Where do you envision labor going in this transition period? It's probably going to be difficult, but then like, where do you envision labor going in the next 10 years or so? Like at some point, labor has to go somewhere. Like what business, what like services are rendered durable enough for people to continue actually working when like machines are doing most people's jobs?
When you say labor, are you talking like knowledge work?
Any work. Like I suppose like
Makes sense to start there, at least.
yeah,
you know?
we can start there, but I'm actually talking about all of it. But like, I think that labor in general is going to be disrupted to a degree that we've never really seen before, and like I think that's going to be a massive problem.
I don't know. I get conflicted about this. Like, is there going to be massive layoffs because of this? I don't know. Or will just everyone get 2x on average? The mean will be everyone gets 1.5 times more productive.
Yeah.
And in the best cases, people get 10 to 100 times.
Well, I mean,
More
number
productive.
5 of this thing you just shared basically speaks to the fact that they're not going to hire humans for the role.
I mean, so AI is displacing human labor. It's not. I think there was a while where I was like, it's just going to make people much more effective and productive. But what we do have to realize is it is displacement. Like it is a direct
I guess
displacement.
you're right. In the customer service example, there might be 40 people who don't have a
40.
customer service job.
And-
Yeah,
and like
direct labor reduction cost is the highest value driver of AI right now. And when you look at ServiceNow, when you look at Invisible, when you look at Palantir, like these are the organizations that are thriving the most.
And
It's
like
bringing
the
these agents into organizations.
academic view of this would be like, oh, cool. So that frees up that headcount or that labor to do something else productive. And that makes the whole society more productive.
Yeah.
But my question is to do what?
Well, it could take 50 years.
Right. And if
And
it
I'm
takes
starting
10,
to think it could take 10,
I don't
20,
think it takes
50
that
years.
long because
Right.
like, technology
Guys,
has always evolved like
It's not
this.
going to take that. Like since the dawn of technology, jobs have been
Right.
displaced by technology.
But
The
there have
unemployment
been
rate-
periods of time where there was huge displacement, and it took time to recreate the
When
types
has
of
there
jobs.
been? Like this is an honest question. Like when has there been like any period of time where technology caused like massive unemployment? that was like sustained?
It's a good question. I don't know, but I imagine that this could be one of those times.
Like, but this is like somebody had this exact same conversation during like the Industrial Revolution, you know, or when like the printing press was like created, or it's like the same conversation.
But the printing press is like siloed into one function.
Yeah.
This is like every function.
Yeah.
But it's not though.
All
like
at the same time.
You're replacing labor that is not that valuable by definition because it's now being replaced by something that's like sort of like machine-like, and it frees up that human capital to do.
To do what?
Well, what do you mean it's not that valuable? Like you can literally get to a point where you replace most creative knowledge work that human beings are doing today. Say you did that for every function.
Coding is a good example of it. When you say it's not that valuable, right? You went from a situation where some random there was a world where like a few years ago where some developer who wasn't that good would just make like $250,000 a year and some job, right? And then AI comes in and basically like renders that guy moot, right? So by definition, what he did becomes not that valuable because now it's been replaced by if what you used to do becomes replaced by infinite cheap software, then immediately you're definitionally like not that
I agree with that.
right?
And like maybe that guy, it's like the equivalence is like that guy just speaks a language that is scarce. Like that's fine. But what if like what does that guy now do? Like this is my question. It's like, okay, so now you free him up to do what?
Okay,
Like,
well, what's interesting is that in most of those roles, let's say in a customer service role, right? Who's valuable in that situation? Is it the individual rep who actually takes the calls or responds to emails, or is it someone who like knows this landscape of AI, can harness those tools to manage a team or build a system? Like the leap from the customer service agent who actually was doing calls to level up to that, what is even more in value now, is not that hard. Like it takes them to do some self-learning and agency and ambition and all that good stuff. But I mean, it could take them months. It's not like it takes you years to become more valuable. You see what I'm saying?
so you're saying that the person doesn't need to be necessarily displaced. They can just...
Well, they could be displaced in the role they are now, but then to become valuable again, if they're like, okay, well, what displaced me? Oh,
Yes, but you're not dealing with a 1-for-1, right?
No,
It's
you're
a
dealing for like
it's a 1 out of 10, perhaps. Like
But
that
that
can
role-
ascend into that role of managing AI systems.
right. So managing AI systems, maybe there's like 10,000 of them now, but like in 5 years, there could be a million of those jobs,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Because every system's going to need someone to manage, tweak, monitor.
Yeah, I think Eric's point is it's not a 1-for-1 transfer from like I got
For right now.
displaced to
And-
now
and-
I'm managing an AI system.
And like,
you know?
I agree with Steven's point. I think we talked about this at length. It's like, of course, technology has looked like many things over time. It looked like a wheel at one point, and it's been displacing labor. Technology has been displacing labor for the duration of time. I'm just wondering if this time is any different, because it feels like it could be potentially different, and it could be like a massive displacement of labor at the same time, and that could be something that would be difficult to manage.
I just don't think it's different. I think that anytime you're talking about like displacing human labor, you're just creating this like sort of like new paradigm of efficiency. You're creating this vacuum that people can just step into and be more efficient, right? You take this back to like the freaking sewing machine. You took somebody who was like a mediocre sewer and they got replaced by like, the sewing robot or something, right? But maybe that person, even though they're mediocre at sewing, like they had like a good mind for sewing, and they weren't good at executing it, but they were good at like managing the process around it. And suddenly you took this person who was like a mediocre laborer and they could just manage like an entire floor aided by technology. And like you can play that scenario out like
I think it's different.
everywhere.
I think it's different because what we've always done with technology is replace physical labor. This is intellectual horsepower. This is like literally replacing the intellect of human beings. And that's fundamentally different than like a better, sewing machine or a printing press to replace like me putting the book together and doing it's it's different. It is the raw
But I-
horsepower and
computers
intellect.
already did this. You used to have people who were like valuable because they knew a lot of things, and then we created computers and the internet, and then people could just like look shit up, and then those people weren't of the same value anymore. And that didn't like destroy anything. It just like created like an expansive new landscape of like opportunities for like economic flourishing.
I understand your main point is that like you let the free market sort of work its way through, and it kind of like solves itself.
It's basically like Jevons paradox. We've talked about that a bunch. It's like the same freaking thing. I think like the economic like capacity, it just expands to fill the void in some way. Like things get created that like nobody knew what the fuck a graphic designer was in like 1422, right? But like, or nobody knew what a social media manager was, right? Things happen, the economy changes, new stuff gets created, and then human capital just kind of goes in to fill these voids. And then like as time progresses, like we just go more and more and more kind of service based in a way, or high level, less working with our hands, which I think is generally good.
Yeah, I just think that we're underestimating the pace of development, right? So like a lot of these things that have happened up until now happen on a slow enough aspect of the curve that there's time to think about the next thing to do and then to place people into those positions. At the rate of acceleration that it's happening, there's going to be an era of confusion of like, what do I do now?
That's a good
I
point.
do not disagree with you that people will find things to do to enable deeper productivity and creativity and then step out of the things that we don't need to do anymore. I don't think that'll be a problem. It'll just take time.
I disagree with this point as well, because like I think there's never been an easier time to be displaced by technology, right? Because imagine being displaced by like the computer in like 1989. The fuck did you do? You just get displaced, and then you're just like, okay. Like if you get displaced by AI right now, right? It's just you have like AI, like you can go access a thing and just immediately like know a thing and just pivot it. Like AI is this like crazy democratizing technology that like gives everybody this like immediate access to stuff, versus like you were really good at sewing and then you get displaced by a sewing machine. The fuck did you do? Like you still did stuff, but it was like you have more flexibility to pivot now than you ever have. Like this idea that I think the technology is moving faster than ever before is true, but also people's ability to leverage the technology to keep pace with stuff is the highest it has ever been. So I think it's like compensating.
Yeah, but that's a skill set a lot of people don't have, as we were just describing.
Yeah, but like it's an easier skill set. Again, like we're moving towards a world of like we talked about this like earlier with like the extinction with the animals and the genetics and stuff. We're moving towards a world where the barrier between what can I envision in my brain and manifest into reality is going to zero.
Yeah.
Across like all sorts of like areas, across like what you want your baby to be tall with blue eyes, or like you have like a creative vision for a movie, but you don't know how to direct, you know how to film, but like now you can just think it and it exists, right? Like as those barriers get broken down, the barrier that is in the way of you going from your current state that got displaced to like a new kind of world that you can live in and be productive is also being like completely broken down. Like it's so fluid right now, right? So I think there are way more barriers to technology in the 80s. There were way more barriers to being displaced by technology in the early 1900s and the Industrial Revolution. I actually think that it's easier now to be displaced by tech than it ever has been, because you can bounce back so much more readily.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
The Buddha says that. I think we go back to growing our own food. Doctors, lawyer, architect, teacher, all gone.
Lawyers are like an interesting one, because I actually feel like doctors like doctors and lawyers have always been like the quintessential like Indian Asian tiger parent kind of thing. Like you doctor lawyer, and it's like the most commoditized thing now from like my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if I was in law school, I'd be like,
Oh my, like going to law school right now seems fucking insane.
But if you already own a practice and are already profitable,
Yes.
it seems amazing, because
Yes.
you're like, I forget what they're called, like legal assistants or whatever, that do all the research and just kind of handle the workflow of
Paralegal?
like paralegal. Yeah, keeping the cases going. There's like a set base of rules and schedules that you have to follow and research. Gone.
Your labor overhead on a law firm is like insane.
Yeah, but now you can
You can just go to zero. Like you take like a couple of great like legal minds and just
So it's
leverage
like
that to the tits.
I think in Interstellar, the movie Interstellar, they kind of just like had this bifurcation where you're either like the tip of the spear of like intellect or you're a farmer. Do you remember that? Like the son was like of the same family. The daughter like went to NASA or something, but the son was like, "You're gonna be a farmer."
Like the teachers kind of decided,
Yeah.
you're going to farmer
That's like
school.
what modern society is, though. It's like coming around to the like freaking South Park episode where the like the contractor is going to Home Depot to like pick up the lawyer. You know, he's like driving up in his he's driving up in his like iced out truck, and he's like looking for like a lawyer, and they're all like, "Whoa," like begging for work because nobody knows how to work with their hands anymore. Like it's a real thing. It's for sure a real thing. And like those the best compensated jobs, like relative to the amount of like education you have to put in or the cost of education. It's like a freaking
So
joke.
the pendulum swings more towards the trades in the interim.
Yeah, it
I
already
agree.
has been.
Yeah, it already has been.
Until like the thing that will disrupt that is like robotics, right?
Yeah.
But we're pretty far from like a robot electrician coming into your house.
Yeah,
right?
or just supply gets saturated where like enough people go into the trades where those become like
I think the robotics thing is like way more interesting as like a disrupting force than AI. To be honest.
Yeah, I was kind of grouping those two things together, but they should be.
It's the next
separated.
evolution.
Yeah.
Because it's like we're like a service economy, right? And the robot is could blow up.
Where's
so
the
much of
first
that.
place I will see a robot in my day-to-day life?
My house.
I
I'm gonna
think
buy
in-
that. I'm
yeah.
gonna buy that Tesla one.
I think home care,
restaurant.
Home care?
child care, elderly care.
I would think.
restaurant.
Yeah, I think
Restaurant.
like
Like
you
if
go to McDonald's
if you go to
and
Japan today, you can go to a restaurant and like a little robot thing brings food out to you,
Yeah, that's like the robot makes your burger or something.
or it just carries it to you, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just basic stuff.
Yeah.
Like having a human go into the in a world where like I can get into my car, click a button, and it could drive me to freaking Joshua Tree, right? We don't have like a robot that can go to kitchen, get dish, bring it to your table. Like that's very basic stuff.
Right.
And this is actually a good example of the other thing we were talking about, because this wouldn't displace servers. It would displace some servers, right? But if you're a good server, like what makes you a good server? Your ability to take the food out? No. It's like your ability to like interact with people, to make them feel good, to do all this other intangible stuff. And so if you have the robots taking the food out and doing all the manual stuff, that you can service more tables and you can make more money, and the guy who owns the restaurant can actually save money while paying you more, and the customers are happier. It's kind of like this like win-win.
I could see that.
I mean, what makes you think that the
I hear-
best servers won't get replaced too?
Alan Bryce, who I believe is in Japan, says, "Yeah, we have robot wait staff. It's basically a self-driving food cart."
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're not going to replace. You're not going to replace a waiter with a robot anytime soon in a place where you go there for like the vibe.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you go to a Denny's, like nobody goes to a Denny's and they're like, oh yeah, I just like love interacting with the servers here. That's like why I come to the Denny's. No, you come to the Denny's because it's 3 a.m. and you're drunk,
Yeah.
and you just need pancakes for some reason, right? But
Such
like
a-
you go to like a
such
nice
non-dad
steakhouse.
statement.
What's that?
Such a non-dad statement. I think you go to Denny's in the
what would
morning.
Dad say?
You go to Denny's in the morning, get
Flapjacks.
get a cup of coffee and a grand slam.
Yeah.
All right.
Grand slam breakfast.
All right, this is a good transition because we want to hear all the dad talk now that you're an experienced silver-haired.
Armand, should we put up the partition and just have a convo?
I saw earlier the
for
dads
sure.
talking in the corner by themselves. I was like, this is how it
Should I just
starts.
go to the bathroom now?
They just go to the corner by themselves. They don't even include us in the conversation anymore.
Okay, so here's where I'd like to include you guys in the conversation because, like, having this child has been so profound and it's been amazing. My life feels forever changed. The ways in which my life feels forever changed are pretty nuanced. And, like, the thing that I want to really kind of, like, run by you guys to help myself understand, it's only been 7 days. I think what I'm, like, confused by is that I feel such a dramatic change already in 7 days. And I'm wondering if this 7-day period is indicative of like me going forward, or am I just like tired and like having
deprived,
a new toy in the house?
Wait, when you say change, you mean
Okay, so
things you used to care about no longer seem to be important to you?
Yeah, so here, like, this is exactly how I want to frame it. It's like, I kind of feel like there was this meat body of me that you guys would recognize. The meat carriage. That guy in my metaphysical vision of reality, I think that guy still exists. He's on a different tendril of the metaverse or like the multiverse, and he's like still crushing the markets and happy hours, doing what he loves. And that guy was still thrilled with that life. Mina asked me after we had the child, Mina said, like, how much happy are you? How much happier are you now than you were before? I said, the same. And I said the same because this version of me now, the one with the child, loves having a child. And like, I am thrilled by that. But the guy before having a kid, that guy was thrilled crushing the markets and happy hours. And I was like loving playing tennis and like doing that shit. And that guy is still doing that somewhere in the multiverse. And I think I was thrilled. That guy was thrilled doing that. I'm thrilled doing this. But I'm actually worried because I've found myself, this guy now, I've found myself not as enthused to do the stuff that I was doing before. Like, you know, like that other guy, the stuff that the other guy was doing, which includes my career, the stuff that I've built my whole foundation upon, my whole life moving forward. I'm like, do I even care about that anymore? Because I got this whole new prioritization.
Okay, that's a weird one to me. Okay, so I don't have kids, but everyone I've ever talked to who has had kids hasn't said it's like made them not care about their work. Because like one of my concerns on having kids is just like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to get anything done because I'm like, oh, baby and everything. And everybody's been like, no, you will focus so hard on your work because it will have this like deeper meaning because you're working not just for yourself anymore. You're doing all this stuff, right? So
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a
no. This is something that nobody prepared me for, because like all of our peers around us and our friends like sort of prepared me for a lot of the mechanical, like, hey, so it's gonna be like sleep deprived and it's gonna be like you're gonna feel like this immediately, and like nobody prepared me for this exact thing that I'm describing, where it's like my prioritization shifted, and I don't know if it's temporary. And I'm a little worried about it.
Well, maybe you can describe a little more what it's shifting toward, because I'm curious about that.
So there's nuance in it as well. So like everybody's situation is different, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I think everybody who listens to this knows that I'm like a privileged guy. Like I sort of have I can be okay here right now. If I just like keep my life like this, I'm already done. Like I'm good.
JoJo's got a college fund already.
Yeah, JoJo has everything she'll ever need.
Yeah.
If I keep my life like this right now, like the thing that would make me want to like drive harder would be to like improve my life and her life from here, which is already quite nice.
So are you ultimately like sitting there asking yourself like, man, is there a reason to sacrifice time with my family and go and be the grind guy any longer and have these goals and aspirations that were once important to me versus maybe some new goals and aspirations that have more to do with this new identity and family, because I'm not driven by some of the things maybe old guy or people not in my position are driven by.
Precisely. And when I've gone introspective on that exact question, what I found, I think, is that like the old guy in like career, if we isolate the career silo, that guy was like interested in making money naturally, as we all are. But there was also like, I think you could like make him bifurcate into like intrinsic motivation and extrinsic. So the intrinsic motivation I found was like, I like doing this stuff. I'm good at it. It stimulates my curiosity that I naturally have. But there was some extrinsic motivation that was driving me that I think is probably less than most people, but still existed, which was like, I want to be respected in my field. I want people to sort of like look at me as somebody who's good at what I'm like putting all this effort towards and stuff. And like, I think having this kid now, I kind of feel like I realize that I don't actually care about that extrinsic stuff at all. All I care about is like providing for my kid and like making sure this kid's life is good. And like that just moves it towards like, do I have enough money? And
Yeah.
like I do. So
Now what?
now am I good? Because like I kind of feel like I'm good.
I mean, the way I think about it for you is like pre-kid, there was nothing else to create a meaningful structure to orient your life around. This was the most interesting thing. Not that there was nothing else, there wasn't a kid, right? And then as soon as the kid shows up, the baby shows up, it's like, this is obviously the most meaningful thing for me to spend my time thinking about, focused on. And the extrinsic things that you discussed are no longer, they
Like
melted away.
Lower priority.
So
And
basically, your Audi, is like thinking that these things matter, but your innie realizes there's a deeper game.
exactly. And I'm wondering if I go like deeper dimensional, like of course I'm going to want to like instill some good values into this newborn little girl, and like part of that is like a work ethic and like striving towards something, and like I want to demonstrate that, so like maybe that becomes a motivator. But for now, I find myself, it's only 7 days in, so this is what I'm wondering too. It's like, is this just like the immediate effect? But I am kind of feeling this way, and I'm like talking about my feelings, out in the open. But I'm like, wow, I don't.
I mean, I
actually
have
care.
a hunch, and maybe I'll pose it to Armand. But like you mentioned in the first, like, I don't know, year, maybe it's less, maybe it's more, but the baby doesn't really need you, the dad, as much as it needs the mom or wants the mom.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think it's just going to get bored after a while? Like if the kid doesn't need him as much, he's just going to be
question.
like, well, I
Yeah.
don't really have a place right now. So go back to the
That's a
laptop.
good question. Yeah. I mean, I think if a person wants to find ways to add value, they would. Like he will.
Oh, yeah.
If that's the decision of like that stuff is not as important.
I think like anyone who's in our shoes would admit that there's been a reprioritization of life. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And I think like maybe your daughter becomes like a brand new highest priority thing. I think that's fair. I just need, I'm wondering when like things that are lower priority like come up to me to be like, hey, I'm still here. Because right now I just feel like I'm good. I don't care.
I mean, I'd imagine that at some point, I don't know when, maybe it's when they're older, but they're going to be like, hey, Dad, let's have fun. And you're going to be like, oh, I got to teach them fun. And the things that you're going to know are fun are playing tennis, maybe not crushing happy hours at such a young age, but like, watching sports, going to sporting events, traveling, and that'll be the way you show them and spend quality time with them.
Yeah. I mean, I knew you were going to change a lot. I was like certain for me, and in the best ways possible. And so many like entrepreneurs, founders, people like I sent this, like one of those silly little like quotes to Erica the other day. It was like, it said something like, founders sacrifice time today with their loved ones in order to be able to provide more of their time tomorrow. So if you've already achieved what you were setting out to achieve, or you didn't even need to get it to this next level that you made up in your head, you're the fisherman. Why wouldn't you just be the fisherman and spend time with your family? You've done X, Y, and Z. Like what I'm doing is I don't intend to be so away for as many hours forever. I intend to decrease the amount of work over time, still stay active, but like show more and more and more of myself to my family over time. So if you're in that position where you feel that way, where you can do that, why wouldn't you? And so I think what's naturally happened is you're like, damn, I guess I'm probably good.
Yeah, you mentioned this earlier. Go to the metaphorical ranch and just, chill in the backyard. Talk about how it's good to have land.
So I talked about
have some dogs.
I talked about the metaphorical ranch. This idea of like retiring out to the wilderness with your family, and you just have like just land and good times. You don't worry about anything. I'm kind of like there metaphorically right now. I don't live on a ranch, but like I think sort of in my mindset, I'm kind of like moving towards that direction, which I can tell you I'm fighting. Like there's something inside of me that's like, what are you doing? Like, go to work, like do more. But like, there's another part inside of me that's like, why? Like,
so this is super multivariate, which you already alluded to. There's personality, there's means, there's like time and place in life, there's like Like, are you even welcome to provide value? No. Are you needed? So it's like but the biggest one is probably personality and like, means. What do you need to do? So like, I think back to myself, personality, likes to work, likes to build, wants to leave a stamp on the world, wants to know he left it all on the field, in a nutshell, right? And then like means, how much more do I need to feel financially free? Everyone's number is different. So like Erica said, where I'm at, this is good. And in my head, I'm like, where I'm at is not good. Work harder. And so I went back to work harder than ever after 2-3 days of maternity leave. And I did the same thing round 2. And I'm like, no, I'm a startup founder. This is what's happening right now. These are who I'm competing with. This is the game I'm playing. I got to go slay the dragons. I'm in the hero's journey. So much of it is just so subjective. And that's why I think that there is no such thing as advice for parents. And that's why I say it's like stepping through the door in Narnia. Like it's like it's different for everybody, and you can't prepare anybody for it because your journey is going to be different.
And
than
with
mine.
all these variables that you describe, it's very hard for somebody to prepare you via advice because like there's very few people that are like in exactly my shoes.
There
that
is
are like, here's how you're
zero
gonna feel.
people.
Yeah,
There are 0 people.
so like I felt very prepared for like all the mechanical aspects of becoming a dad, and like we're doing great, baby's doing great, mom's doing great, everyone's so healthy and contented. But like this one part to me, I'm just like, whoa, what is going on? And it's only been 7 days.
My prediction is like we used to say Zen Eric, but I think Zen Eric was just born.
Maybe.
Seriously. I think there's like this whole other compartment of you, your innie now that is that is going to express himself in new ways,
I really just hope I don't lose this like whole way that I've set up my existence.
No, I don't think you will.
I don't know. I feel
it's
that
not a
way.
full sever. It's an evolution of the self,
Left Side Capital has some advice. He mentions beyond being stopped out on his Nasdaq long that that got stopped out for a loss instead of tens of thousands of profits. He says, no, it's not the immediate effect. You will fall more and more in love with your baby girl every day. All I want to do is chill with my baby girl, and it goes by so fast. Stoked for you. Maybe he's saying it's going to increase more.
It's going to get worse.
Yeah.
For Left Side Capital, there's something that I know. Like it's only been 7 days. Our baby's gotten bigger. Like it's already happening. Like the growth is happening so fast that I want to cry. It's like it's happening too fast already. It's only been 7 days.
Your little Tamagotchi's
When
growing.
we just hit a
Girl.
month, it'll blow your mind. Not just how fast, how the change, like why, like that. So there's this short phase where your baby will like sleep and nap on your chest and be like a little frog, right? It's like this little frog thing, and they just like tuck into a little ball.
Yeah,
Dude,
It's
that
so good.
phase, it's almost over for me already.
It's
Like
so
it's
good.
it's gonna end like that, and then every time, you know what they say, you never know the last time you're gonna pick up your baby.
Oh,
Like it's haunting. Like it's like a terrifying idea because one day she's gonna be like, no,
Yeah.
Baba, no,
right.
I don't want to be picked up. And it's like, what? I'm sure I'll cry. I'm sure.
I mean, this is what I was wondering is if, you're kind of like stoic, calm, cool, collected. Is there going to be a whole new level of like different fears, anxieties,
Well,
like that'll just be brought in your life and you're like, I'm not chill anymore. Like she's driving now. Like what the fuck?
Mina had this question for my dad, and I answered it incorrectly. Like she asked me first, she's like, what would your dad have done if you were a daughter instead? And I said, nothing different. He's so pragmatic that he wouldn't have changed at all. And then she asked him in front of me, and he's like, it would have been totally I had so much autonomy. I was just like going to people's houses, like on foot or on bike throughout the neighborhood all the time without any, like, it wouldn't even have to, like, I just like walk out the door and go. And he's like, it would have been so different. And I can see that now in myself with a daughter. I'm like, I'm not going to just be this guy
girls and
who's
boys
like,
are so different.
yeah.
So different. Girls are the best.
So we got a little happy hour thing going on after the pod. I don't know if you're still
Not
interested.
I don't know. It's not for me. I don't know, dude. I just like, I don't feel the gumption. It's weird. Like 7 days in, I don't feel the gumption to do the stuff that would have been like really exciting for me 7 days ago, what I find exciting, like that guy would have been like, what? just want to like show my baby the backyard. Like that's a thrill ride. I don't know. It's like, it's weird.
This is our backyard.
I will tell you, like, I don't know if you're gonna have a second one, but the first one is, it's you know, it's like the first time you do anything. It's the best. So like, really enjoy it, bro. Like, really enjoy it. Like the second time is amazing in the sense that the second baby is so different. It's almost so unlikely that they end up like similar in their mannerisms and personality and how they cry, when they cry, what they need, you know, all that stuff. So like, it's always new, but the newness of the first time is like a 10x difference. It's just so much easier the second time. It's so much less like intense. So enjoy it.
I want to do another one just so I can see Mina be a mom and sort of like a chilled out version. She's so
yeah. And then the other thing is like your focus is so 100% on this baby.
Yeah.
Having a second one, man, like now we're a month in, it's like, you know, you're juggling. You're literally juggling. It's not just a metaphor. It's like, okay, one's on the boob and the other one wants to eat like real food and like crying and being like, no, I want mom to do it. And like, you know, and you're figuring it out and you're like, well, let's go over here.
How is that going? Like with Rumi, the older daughter, how's that?
I mean, we're really fortunate. I've heard some crazy ass stories, but like Rumi is the best sister ever. Like her entire thing, she wakes up, she's like, where's Roya? Where's Roya? Where's Roya? Like, how's she doing?
Cool.
Goes to sleep. Night, night, Roya. She wants to kiss Roya. She wants to hug Roya. Like, it's like she's
Is
obsessed.
that like, did you instill that, or is that something
No,
that
she was born, like she came out of the womb with this like huge like love for life and huge heart. Like she was born with this. She just has a huge heart. So that's all her. Like, I mean, we instill like love, you know, and admiration, but no, that's the most fascinating thing about having a baby is like, there's your genes and like, they definitely become you, but there's a soul.
Oh, I could have a whole
There is a being, a self with a capital S that you have nothing to do with. It is their soul, and they are born with it. There is this person, there's this character, and you definitely have an impact. But it is you. You know it. You know it for yourself. You've tuned into that before in your life, and it's there. And when you're a child, it's stronger. Like, and my goal as a father is like, do everything possible to make sure the world never takes that away. School, people, judgment. It's like whatever she is, that strong sense of self, I just want that to blossom. So like, I think about this all the time. I'm like, I wasted so much time, and it's not my parents' fault. They didn't know any better. They had to go to work. They were like, go to school, do the thing, normal public school, do the thing. But like, dude, we are going to accelerate this child, not like accelerate like tiger parents, but like accelerate like the evolution of this child by removing all the bullshit that our generation had to go through. What does she want to do? Who does she want to be? Just reward that. Let her go. Let her go. And like, see what comes to be. By the time these girls are 13, 14, they're going to be beyond what I was at 35. That's my prediction. It took me 30 years to become like a normal adult person. I think that my kids will be there in their teenage years.
Something that I mean, I could pull on every thread you just mentioned, because like
I'm so excited by it.
I have so much to go on. But one thing that I think I want to say is like, I waited a long time, and in doing that, there's pros and cons. But one of the pros is we're so ready. We're so ready to like encourage any of these outcomes, and like to just, I can now just be like sort of there with her and supporting all of that. And I'm not really like tethered to sort of any life, you know, like I just I have a ton of opportunity with her. It's pretty, that's neat. You know, there's always trade-offs.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's a wonderful thing. It's not for everybody, but it's a wonderful thing for those that decide and can, you know? Yeah. I'm excited. The thing that excites me the most is what I just said. It's like, who does this person become?
Do you think that person
and guiding that?
Do you think that person
nurturing that?
Is it written?
It's both. It's both.
I've become much more.
It's like your genes. Your genes are nature and nurture.
I've become much more deterministic in my thinking, where it's like I think that her future is more written than I ever imagined.
I did. For me, it goes all the way up to my vision and understanding of the cosmos, and all the way down to the most fundamental level. And I think it's all breath. It's like either conscious or unconscious at the same time. When you want it to be conscious, you take a deep breath. Otherwise, you're breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's nature and nurture at the same time. Nature plays a huge role for some people, but there is nurture plays a huge role, but there is an integral aspect of the self.
But even the nurture
that can shut down.
But the nurture element is also kind of written, because like she was born to me, and I'm going to nurture her in the way that I do. And that's sort of written, like it's like, that's what I'm sort of seeing now. It's like that the nurture element is more written than I imagined. And that's new for me.
That's interesting.
I don't know. I could go for hours on it.
No notes on this side.
What does it make you think?
I'm excited. I'm excited for both of you, because you both are like different parts of the journey. But like,
yeah. Good job, man.
Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going, boys.
Should we start a dad pod?
Well, I think
Just pull up the...
like an overwhelming thought I had it like going in here was like that our audience members have seen us grow and evolve through like so many cool elements of life over these years. It's rad.
We started as fucktards and crypto bros, and now look at us.
Yeah.
Don't look at us. Don't look at us.
Yeah, now look at us.
But it is interesting.
It's cool, man.
It's cool. Yeah. The majority of our audience, I think, if we did a poll, they're dads. Like,
there are
a
a
lot
lot
of men, and I think a lot of them are our dads. And they were waiting a long time for us to grow up.
Your 7-hour morning routine is irrelevant.
4 years.
Oh my God. Yeah. When I went to SDSU and did a talk, one of the questions was like, tell us about your morning routine. And I laughed. I just laughed. I'm like, pre or post child? I'm like, my one thing that I do in my day that is very important is I make a pour over coffee. That's my moment of zen. Everything else is chaos.
They're like, no cold plunge, no colostrum.
No 15 minutes of journaling, no 20 minutes of meditation.
Colostrum. That's what it was.
Oh, colostrum. Yeah, why couldn't we think of that?
I just forget things.
Oh, man.
All right, guys. Next week, you're on your own.
Really?
Yeah.
Nick's gonna be in China.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He's negotiating terms.
I left the paper here for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hate having to be Nick.
Steven's so dejected.
Yeah.
This is bad.
I'll see you guys in 3 weeks.
It's rough. It's rough.
All right, guys. Chat. Thanks for hanging with us. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, that was a good smorgasbord of topics. We'll be back next week. Join us. Otherwise, all the links are at alfalfapod.com. See you guys next week.
Thank you for taking me deep with your innie.
Later, guys.